Hi, I'm Leigh Wishner, the museum coordinator at the FIDM Museum, and for today's unboxing, which is really more of an unhanging, we're going to find out what Vivienne Westwood and Queen Elizabeth have in common. I'm just going to grab a collection object from our compact storage that I came across recently and was delighted to discover in the collection. So Vivienne Westwood is near and dear to me because of the amount of historical research she does. She spent countless hours researching at the Victoria and Albert Museum, who has extensive collections of antique textiles and costume. We're looking at a couture suit from Vivienne Westwood's 5 centuries ago fall-winter 1997-98 collection when she played with the Tudor period. And for this look, she really locked in on the hardwood portrait for inspiration. Westwood has said she was surprised that every time she looked at a historical garment and translated it for today's woman, it looked like a Dior. So what better way to avoid that than by dousing it with British symbolism from the 16th century? The portrait was probably commissioned by Bess of Hardwicke, who was one of the most prominent members of the Queen's court. She was also renowned for her textiles and needlework, and it's been suggested that Bess herself designed and embroidered the skirt the Queen is wearing. Elizabeth's white satin kirtle or skirt is covered with embroidered motifs, many of which were likely slips, which are embroidered motifs or individually cut out and made into appliques. I'm sharing a few embroidery book resources from the period that give an idea of how a needleworker might get source material. This is Richard Schorlecker, Thomas Trevelyan, and Peter Stent. For example, here is a beautiful flower de luce or fleur de lis that is in the Peter Stent book, and here is a beautiful fleur de lis on the skirt. Westwood copied the motifs verbatim on the suit, and here we see some lilies, which are symbolic of the Queen's virginity, and we also see some pansies, which are symbolic of thoughtfulness. But I bet it's the symbolism of the creepier motifs that Vivienne was attracted to, the hidden danger lurking in writhing snakes, and sea monsters, whales, and dolphins. In addition to creating this ready-to-wear suit, Vivienne put her punk spin on a facsimile of the Queen's dress in printed satin with a black high-collared jacket. I love that she's reversed the color palette of black and white. Sadly, next to nothing remains from Queen Elizabeth's original wardrobe, but recently an altar cloth hanging in the 13th century Church of St. Faith in Bacton has been identified as a repurposed skirt from her wardrobe. We may not have the real deal Elizabethan material here at the FIDM Museum, but I'm so glad that we have a piece that connects Queen Elizabeth I with the Queen of Punk.